In the past couple of weeks, we've been talking a lot about this gap in the creator space where a certain type of creator doesn't really have a place to go or doesn't have a place where they can feel like they belong. We've talked a lot about what this type of creator looks like. And in the last episode of the Couples Table, Tom and I showed examples of people, creators, and channels that fit this group. There's been so much feedback, which has been incredible. So it's really shown us that there are creators who want to be a part of something that does something about this. So in today's video, what I wanted to do was start kicking off the conversation to talk about the ideas of what this group could look like or what we're going to do. Now, this is based off of, ideas that I have thought deeply about for a long time. Obviously, Tom's input, we talk about this nonstop, but then also, again, all of the feedback that we've gotten and the conversations that have just been happening since we originally started talking about this a month ago. So first, I wanted to start out with a mission statement because I do think that we need something that is succinct, that describes what it is that we're trying to achieve, what the purpose of this group is, why we're bringing these people together, what are we trying to work towards, all of those things. Something that's more succinct than like really long videos and a bunch of live streams and and stuff like that. Like, we just need like a few sentences, a paragraph to kind of be the direction that we're working towards. Obviously, this is not set in stone, but just something to work with for now. So the first part is this group is an association of professional independent creators dedicated to creative, authentic, and ethical content creation. Through advocacy, education, and collaboration, we strive to support the growth and success of our members, elevate the standards of our industry, and promote positive impact within our communities. Actually, the more I read the sentence, the more I feel like we need to be specific about what our industry is. Because then you can kind of use this sentence for anything. But, it's just something to get started. And then finally, together we envision a future where professional independent creators are respected, supported, and celebrated for the valuable contributions they make to society. So, again, what I was trying to encompass was, who is this group for? Who are the people that make up this group? What does this group do? Which I feel like is the second sentence. And then why? What is this group looking to achieve? Now, part of the reason why I feel like it's important to have a mission statement in the first place, well, lots of reasons, but it's not just a group of middle-class creators, right? It's not just creators who aren't beginners, who are not big budget, mega YouTubers. There has to be something more specific. And I think one of the things that differentiates this group of creators is that I feel like there is a recognition of a privilege and a responsibility of being a public figure and what it means to have an audience, right? Have an audience that is paying attention to what you're saying, having an audience where what you say affects their lives and their buying decisions and things they spend their money on and their goals. Obviously, this looks different for everybody, but that's kind of what I was trying to go for the second sentence. And then the third one, I felt like it kind of seems, I don't know. I don't think that the creators that initially start out think about this, right? Like, I think a lot of us didn't actually think that this would turn into a business, right? I certainly didn't think so. And I didn't, I was just having fun. Like, it's awesome that it's turned out this way, but I didn't do it to make money. I didn't do it to make an impact. That's just kind of like what happened. But as I said in my original video, I want this group of creators to kind of be recognized for their impact in the creator economy, in the business community, in society as a whole. I feel like, just because we are not big in terms of like Mr. Beast big, if you put us together, we do make a significant impact. I also feel like this addresses the goal of showing a different path of success as a content creator and legitimizing content creation as a career. I want people to recognize the craft of it, the dedication, how much each creator puts in to building their channel and making all these videos and doing their thing. Now, on to some of the ideas of what this could potentially look like. The first and most obvious thing is, in order to bring these creators together that are obviously in different time zones and all over the world, there needs to be some kind of digital space where we can call home, right? Where we have a place. So I was thinking about a digital commons, and the reason why I said commons and not community is because I want to be really careful with using these words that are already defined in the creator space, because I feel like when a lot of people hear the word community, they think of a Patreon community where it's like, you are a fan of this creator, you want to support this creator, you are a subscriber of this creator, but you're not. There's a difference between like the creator and the fans versus a group of people who have equal standing in a group, right? And so that's why I didn't want to use the word community, even though that's kind of what it is. But I really like the word commons, and I tried to model this after I was thinking in college, there's like a commons space where people gather, they have conversations and meetings and study, and there's workshops and seminars and stuff like that. I was kind of thinking of something like that. All right. A commons refers to resources that are collectively owned or shared by a community, accessible to all members of that community and managed for collective benefit. The concept of commons encompasses various types of resources, digital assets. Here are key aspects and examples of commons: collective ownership, not privately owned, held in common by a community or society; accessibility. Digital commons. These include digital resources like open source software, online information, digital media that are freely accessible and shareable. This is kind of more along the lines of what I'm thinking is like, even though Tom and I are kind of the host of this group, or we're kind of spearheading it, the thing that we're trying to create is the group that we want to be a part of. And that means that, we don't have more say than someone who hasn't joined yet. I guess it's this, right? The commons represents a shared wealth of resources managed collectively to ensure their sustainability and accessibility for the benefit of all community members. So I think one of the things that is important to us and the people that I've talked to is the diversity of the group, right? I think the diversity of the group would make it stronger because everyone has a different perspective wherever they are in the creator space, because it's so big and because it constantly changes and because all the niches are different, and depending on what country you're in, it's different. Like, there's so many things that are different about it, and the more perspectives that contribute to the conversations that we have, the stronger, or the more insightful the resources could be. Basically, there's going to be somewhere where we gather. And to start, I wanted it to be free, because I don't want it to be something. I really want to not have a conflict of interest in terms of getting these people together benefits somebody. And because I'm kind of the host of this party at this moment, I am very careful of I'm not trying to sell an online course. I'm not trying to sell a membership to a private community. That's not what I'm trying to do here. So that's why I want to make sure it's free to start. Now, moving forward, I can foresee that it might cost money to just administer the group. We will cross that bridge when we get there. But for now, it's free and obviously voluntary to join. Members are joining because they support the cause and they believe in the vision. The other thing is that I think we're going to make it invite only to start, because that would naturally take care of or ensure that the people who are joining do kind of meet the criteria of this type of creator that we feel is not being represented, does not have support, all of those things. And, one of the things is that you're an independent creator, you are solo, you work by yourself, you do not have a team, you do not have an agent or a manager, all those things. I feel like being invite only, the person who's giving that invite kind of already knows who they're sending the invite out to, right? And it also checks the box of not that we don't want to support beginners or people who are new to this journey, but making sure that it is already a business, right? You are already in the phase where your YouTube channel is making at least $10,000 a year, means that you're already in the phase where you're being intentional in terms of your YouTube channel and your content that you're creating is a business. It generates income. That's very different from accidentally making some money from a viral video through AdSense, right? Like, can you sustainably make at least $10,000 through your YouTube channel a year? I think that type of person is you're just in a different phase. And so, how do we verify this, right? How do we make sure that someone kind of checks these boxes and the right people are joining? Well, I think invite only, because if we start with the people who have already, that we know, that have shown an interest, that have been participating in these conversations, that have been contributing feedback, like if these people have the power to invite, then whoever you send the invite to, you are also ensuring that those people meet the criteria. Does that make sense? All right, cool. Next up, what would we be doing in this digital commons? Well, first of all, there's got to be a forum for ongoing discussions. We would have topics, people can contribute. I think at the very least, bare minimum, this is what it would look like, where there's basically a discussion board and then people can converse asynchronously, right? Like, you don't have to show up at a certain time since everyone is in different time zones. Regardless of where you are in the world, you can still read what people are saying and contribute your own perspective to these topics that we feel are important. Next up, events, all kinds of events, seminars and workshops, panels, networking, hangouts, and non-recorded synchronous meetings. So when it comes to events, I think it's really important to have synchronous meetings where it is something like a Zoom meeting where people are on at the same time and we can have organic conversations and back and forths and stuff like that. Of course, we would want some educational seminars and workshops. People can present their expertise, or panels, right? So I think the panels idea is it's the one that I'm probably most excited about, because when it comes to being a content creator, I have learned that there just isn't one way to do YouTube. There just isn't. Someone can do it this way and someone can do it the complete opposite. Someone can, make sure they monetize in these certain ways, and there's someone else who doesn't do any of those things and is also very successful. And so, a lot of it is making sure that the creator can choose what works for them. And in order to do that, it's, having the exposure to how other people are doing it and what they've seen success with. So that way you can, choose for yourself, right? And for these panels, they would be made up of the members of this community, right? So it's not about crossing some kind of milestone. It's not about you are an expert or a guru who has an online course in this thing. You're just explaining and sharing your perspective from wherever you're at, even though this is not what you talk about on your YouTube channel, even though, this is not your niche, your input is still super helpful, right? Obviously, networking, hangouts, I think that's just we all know this, but the content creator journey is very isolating. And I think just a time where you can connect with other people who are doing the same thing that you're doing, but we don't necessarily have to be working, right? I think that's really important. Even when we were at NAB, just grabbing happy hour and dinner and just making memories and getting to know each other, it's just so cool, because obviously we have a lot in common if we are it's kind of a self-selecting group to be a content creator. So I think the hanging out part is very important. I also put non-recorded synchronous meetings. I don't know how many of these are going to be recorded, but I do think that there needs to be a type of event that is non-recorded and synchronous. In order to have, I don't know, just organic, honest, authentic conversations like people do in real life, it can't be recorded, right? Like you need to be able to say something without any fear, right? Of anything, right? And I think that when it is recorded, when it's available for replay, when it's going to be on someone's YouTube channel, that kind of changes things, right? There's just a, you as a creator just have to be on because right? We know. Could we create a place where you can be off and you could just be the person who's behind the camera, behind the channel, talking with other people who are doing the same thing? So here are just some of the examples that have come up in the conversations I've had with other people about this. I don't know whether these are like seminars or panels or non-recorded, blah, blah. We'll figure that out. But anyway, here's some of the topics. How to set up security for your YouTube channel, just like a brick and mortar small business down the street sets up like cameras and, they have security measures. What is the equivalent of what we would do as a digital business? How to protect your channel, stuff like that. How to transition from, full-time employee to full-time YouTube or part-time YouTube and then full-time YouTube. Should you have 2 channels? How do you handle brand deals and sponsorships, taxes, finances, contracts, things like that? But also like work-life balance. How have you approached telling your partner or having your partner be supportive of your YouTube channel? I say this all the time, but Tom and I are lucky because we have each other. But there are so many things, like if we didn't have each other, who the heck would I talk to talk about these like harder things that all of us are kind of just figuring out as we go, and we're reinventing the wheel every single time. Like, wouldn't it be nice to just hear how other people are approaching these things? And then, of course, resources. So I think it's super important that there's some kind of knowledge base of resources that are vetted, that are reliable, that maybe even multiple people can contribute to based on, niche, based on country or state, based on a lot of things, right? Like we can have a huge knowledge base. And I'm sure that every single member who is a part of this group would have something to contribute to something, because a lot of these creators have been doing this for years. And so there's a lot of experience to kind of pull from to put together some kind of knowledge base. So the digital commons thing, I mean, that's something that could be done very easily. Heck, we can throw something together and start it tomorrow. But I did want to put it out there and just see what the feedback is. There's 2 other things that I wanted to mention that, I don't know, if we look at this as like phase 1 of what this group is, there's 2 other things that I feel like would be kind of, relatively easy to include here. So the first thing, or the second thing, I guess, is some kind of awards, right? And I'm thinking of like the Streamies for this group. Now, not necessarily like, as big or as glamorous, but the whole point is to, 1, recognize the creators in this space, like recognize this type of creator, showcase and highlight someone who is a good example of what we're talking about, someone who is doing it in a way that should be respected, supported, and celebrated, right? And obviously the categories can kind of be whatever. And I was thinking like the members of this group could, vote, or maybe there's a committee of volunteers that, review each channel or review each video that's submitted, and they're the ones who vote. I was thinking of like how the Academy Awards do it. There's the Academy, and then they choose, something like that. But I think recognizing creators that are good examples of, elevating the standards of this space and what it means to be a content creator, but then also to show the online community as a whole, right? So like, yes, to showcase like how creators can be successful even though they don't have a gold play button or are, on Mr. Beast level, right? I think it's important to recognize that. But then also, as the viewer, as the fan, as the community member, as just like everyone else who's not necessarily a creator, like for them to see a different type of creator, like for them to see these creators that are solo, that are independent, that are doing it themselves, that are dedicated to their craft, and just to see the passion behind how they approach content creation and building their channel and all of those things. I think it's just important. I think that's just important, right? I think it would be such a cool thing. And like, hey, long term, I could totally see that being something that businesses would want to be a part of, right? I'm sure they would want to celebrate creators as well. Like, I just feel like it would be good for the space as a whole. But we can start small. It could be a web page that has like links to channels, and then who knows from there. The last thing I wanted to do was create some kind of public directory of the members of this group, because it's not going to make that big of a deal, right? But my hope is that what if this group got to the point where it had a reputation and the viewer community knew that these creators, create with integrity, they're independent, like they just knew what this group was about. They understood the values of this group. And what if we could take the algorithm out? And if someone wanted to find, like, I don't know, there's a directory and it's like, hey, here's an ASMR channel, or here's like ASMR channels, whatever. Instead of going to the algorithm on YouTube, like start here. Start with these creators that have these values in common, right? Or I don't know, the camera, audio, video niche. Here's the directory. Here's all these people that are members. And then if you're looking for reviews for a camera, you can start with these people who, again, create with integrity, have ethics, all these things. I can equate it to like being LEED certified. So if a brick and mortar business is LEED certified, it means that they are a sustainable business. They have a very low carbon footprint and environmental impact, and everything is like super energy efficient and all of that. And people know what that sticker is. Maybe not everybody, but like I know what it is, right? And it's a big deal. Like I know that a person or a business who has that sticker, like you have had to operate differently than someone else who doesn't have that sticker, right? And you value the environment. You prioritize your environmental impact as a business. The same thing, right? Like what if there was a sticker or membership label, logo, something in your channel banner that's like you're a member of this group, and it got to the point where the viewers knew what that meant, right? There was value in having that sticker, where if there's two channels and there's one with a sticker and there's one without, like it's not necessarily one's better than the other, but there's just extra context there that I feel like would be helpful. That would be long term, but just to start, just a little directory of the people who are part of it, Actually, I'm looking at my list right now. I have long-term goals, and I have membership sticker as the first one. So I guess like my short-term public directory kind of feeds into the long-term membership that's recognized by the viewer community. Other long-term ideas are, having a directory of creator-focused businesses. So that's like, accountants in your area, people who can help you with contracts, like, business lawyers, stuff like that. Also, oh, what a dream. What a dream to have an in-person event. That would be so cool. I have no idea. I can't even wrap my head around that. But like, gosh, that would be so cool. That'd be so cool. Obviously the awards in person. Oh my gosh. Like that would be so cool. That would be so cool. I think like if there's one thing I would want to happen out of this like long-term goal list, it would definitely be having having this like recognition ceremony in person, just to celebrate what we do, to celebrate this weird thing that we do and what we've dedicated our lives to, and all the freaking blood, sweat, and tears that each of us have like put into this, just to show that people are celebrating it. Like, what a cool thing. Oh, that'd be so fun. Group discounts. I feel like that's an easy one, but it's still a thing. And then, grants, sponsorships, partnerships to support arts and entrepreneurship and minority voices and all these things. I think when it comes to working with businesses and companies and brands, I feel like a lot of what they do is just kind of follow what's been done, because they're not necessarily the creative people. We are, right? And I think what is getting forgotten is that probably a lot of the times the creative person, right? The creator who is in charge of their channel, who brought their own channel to life, can probably come up with better ideas than a brand who only has the marketing hat on, right? And I think, like, what if there was a way where this group or members of this group can flip it, where instead of the sponsors dictating the conversation of, sponsorships and brand deals, like, what if it were the other way around, where we pitched them, right? Like, when we said, hey, we want to do this award show where we're celebrating all these creators, blah blah blah, sponsor this. People who get the awards can get some kind of, I don't know, sponsorship money, cash prize. I don't know if that's the right word to say it, but something like that. Because I think, like, okay, for International Women's Day, a brand could approach the group and be like, all right, we want to sponsor, 10 female creators for International Women's Day. So boom, you're, the next video of these 10 female creators would be sponsored by this group. Awesome. If the group is already there and it's made up of the most diverse group of creators who meet these criteria, I feel like we can get together and come up with these ideas, like these kinds of ideas, and then pitch the brands, right? Pitch them where we can come up with something that is beneficial to everyone, the sponsor, the company, the creator, the audience, but then also the community, right? Like, the world. I just feel like the way that it's being done right now, I feel like there's a better way. And I feel like this group is more than capable of coming up with some better ways to do this. And then lastly, I want to quickly kind of address values that I feel like whatever the ideas that this group comes up with, they kind of address these things. So first, empowerment, gaining the confidence, skills, resources, and autonomy needed to successfully run and grow their business independently. Empowerment in this context is about equipping solo business owners with the tools and mindset needed to thrive independently. So it's like, it's not just about, this group isn't just about trying to grow on YouTube. That, yes, that's very important to us, but it's also to the sustainability of one's business, right? I think that's even on here. Resources, support, topics, mindset, self-confidence, knowledge and skills, finances, marketing, branding, work-life balance, sustainability. It's about creating a business model that is not only profitable, but also responsible, resilient, capable of thriving in the face of economic, social, environmental challenges. All these things. I realized I'm covering that. There you go. This is just something I copied from my notes document. Like, I think about these things 24/7, and basically, like, in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh, this, right? So all of this is a work in progress. All of this is, not set in stone. I would welcome feedback on all of this, which is why I'm putting it out there. And I think the special thing about this, again, is the diversity of voices. Like, I don't want it to just be me and Tom, right? Like, I think in order for it to do the thing that people are envisioning, it needs to have other voices to be a part of it, right? So feedback, welcome, please provide. But then lastly, I think the thing that, maybe you're thinking about, the thing that I know I'm thinking about is the freaking name of the group? What is the name of the group? I have a name in mind, but I'm not set on it yet. So that's kind of the only thing stopping me from like at least making the digital commons, because, yeah, sure, could sign up for any of these community platforms and start sending out invites and boom, like we can start this tomorrow. But it's the name that I'm still kind of thinking about. And like I said, I have an idea, but I kind of wanted feedback on this, like what we talked about in this video first. And then maybe the next video can be the name. But anyway, things are moving and shaking. I'm excited because I think, this is going to be a thing very soon. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your patience. And I'm excited. So anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.